Hello friends, my name is Dr. Gaurav Agarwal. I am a pediatric cardiologist working in Delhi. Today I will brief all of you about the basics of pediatric echocardiogram. In this topic, we will discuss ecophysics, transducers, a few words about the echo machine, how to acquire and optimize images, and Doppler, including color Doppler. As we all know, the echocardiography is the main diagnostic test that we are using in day-to-day practice. This helps in making the diagnosis as well as in making the pre-procedure planning and post-procedure follow-up. The sound is characterized by its frequency and intensity. Human ear can detect less than 20 kilohertz frequency only, and more than 20 has to be detected by ultrasound. What is the meaning of piezoelectric effect? And in this picture, you can see there is a crystal known as the piezoelectric element. When we put a pressure on the chest by this crystal in the probe, that pressure energy is converted into the electrical energy. It is known as the piezoelectric effect. Transducers emit sound waves. This in turn receives the electrical signal in the form of echo images. Finally, it creates ultrasound waves. Velocity will depend on the density and elastic property or stiffness of the medium. The velocity is high with the increasing stiffness and inversely related with the density. So it travels faster through a stiff medium like foam. Transducers that we are routinely using in day-to-day practice. In units, the transducer of choice is 10 to 12 megahertz. Infant and young children 4 to 8 megahertz, and older children and adolescent 2 to 3 megahertz. What is the difference in the probes? This is color scale is good in 3 megahertz probe, and the resolution is best in the 12 megahertz probe. Depth penetration is also very good in 3 megahertz probe. The footprint is here. The red one is the footprint. It is larger in case of 3 megahertz and smaller in case of 12 megahertz. For seeing the smaller objects like coronary arteries, then we have to use the increased frequency probe like the S12 probe. For deeper structure, as in case of adolescent, then we have to use the 3 megahertz. These are the buttons on machines, but it can be different in different types of machine. Is the continuous wave Doppler, pulse wave Doppler, 2D, color Doppler, acquire, like this. And various other buttons are there. It is different types of machine. And how do we optimize the best resolution? To maximize the resolution, we have to use the high frequency transducer. Optimize focal zone of interest. I will show you in one example. Minimum necessary gain and minimum depth should be used. And focus, we should focus in the area of interest. We should not focus anywhere else except the focus area of interest. This is a picture. The depth is very. In this picture, you can see the depth is very high, and the images here are not clearly shown. But when the depth is adequate, we can see everything, ventricular septum and the left ventricle wall, everything we can clearly see. This is the marker of focus. The focus is very above the area of interest. Then we cannot see the picture here clearly. When the focus is in the zone of interest, the image quality is optimized. We have to keep the gain minimal to get the optimal image. For example, if the gain is normal, then fluid and blood will look black, and the myocardium will look medium gray, and pericardium will look bright white. As in this picture, the gain is very high, everything looks white. And this picture, the fluid and blood part are the black, other things are adequate in color. Now coming to the Doppler. Doppler will tell us directional speed of the flow. The flow that is coming towards the probe will have the high velocity and vice versa. Doppler is best when the signal is aligned parallel to the blood flow. I will show you in one example. The high quality Doppler will get in low frequency and probe like 2 to 3 megahertz probe. And the velocity is dependent on the pressure difference between two chambers, like left ventricle and right ventricle in case of BSD. Two types of Doppler are there, pulse wave and continuous Doppler. The direction of blood flow towards the probe is shown above the baseline, and away from the probe is below the baseline. The gradient is calculated according to a modified Bernoulli equation. Coming to the pulse wave Doppler, it measures the velocity at a particular point. And if velocity is more than that, then there will be ambiguity in audio and graphic output, and it is useful for assessing the relatively low velocity. Like in case of this pulse wave Doppler is focused at the mitral valve leaflet. Here we can see that velocity at mitral valve leaflet. Simultaneously, there is a mitral regurgitation jet is also there from LV to RV. The Doppler that is from LA to LV towards the probe will be above the baseline, and from LV to LA, from that is away from the probe, will be below the baseline. We cannot see the complete jet of the mitral regurgitation here because of the high velocity. So in this case, we have to use the continuous wave Doppler. But the disadvantage is that when we are aligning the continuous wave Doppler along a path, it will measure the side-by-side velocities also. In this case, the continuous wave Doppler is aligned in the left ventricular outflow tract, and it is measuring the gradient across the left ventricular outflow tract because it is away from the probe from LV to aorta. Probe is here. It is below the baseline. Simultaneously, there is velocity. Aortic regurgitation is also there. It is measuring above the baseline. But it is useful for high velocity jets. What is the significance in aligning the Doppler across the jet? If the jet is of the aortic stenosis like this, but when we are aligning the Doppler across this plane, the velocity will be 1 meter per second. When it is through the proper jet, the velocity will be 1.97 meter per second. So the jet should be aligned parallelly. Now coming to the pitfalls of the Doppler. High frequency signals aligns with the low scale. So to correct this, we have to shift the baseline and we have to use the color continuous wave. In this picture, we cannot see the complete graph by using pulse wave Doppler. Then we have to use the continuous wave. Then we can measure the complete jet. If the gain settings are very high, as in this picture, the gain is very high. You can see here that this is some clearing of the images also there. We can see the gain is the continuous wave gain is 90%. The gradient is 94 millimeter mercury. But when the gain is adequate, here the difference in the picture you can see this is a completely black background. The gain is here 45 to 50%. The gradient decrease from 94 to 72. This is the actual gradient across the pathway. Coming to the color Doppler, the color will be red when the flow is towards the probe. From LA to LV, this is a TE image. From LA to LV will be have the blue in this because the probe is here. The flow from LA to LV will be blue, but it is a regurgitant jet. From LV to LA, it is red in there. The blue will be away from the probe, but the color will be there according to the probe position. For example, in case of superior vena cava, in subcostal view, the SVC flow is towards the probe, so it will be seen as red. And in this video, you can see here is the SVC. The probe is here. The flow is from here to here, so it is red in color. But simultaneously, in supraesternal view, this is the SVC flow because it is from neck to heart. It is away from the probe. It will be blue in color. The color gain should be around 55 to 65%. Low scale is used for the low velocity flow. For venous blood flow, low scale settings are used. For regurgitant, overestimation can be occurred due to low scale settings. For example, in this video, the color scale is 72 here. You can see the proper mitral regurgitant jet in the blue color from away from the probe because it is from LV to LA. But when the color scale is 36, you can see the difference in the color gain. So the color gain should be adequate in case of regurgitant jet. And the gain should be adequate. This is a proper color gain of 55%, and in this you can see the regurgitant jet. But the gain, when the gain is increased, you can see the abnormal color jet is there. The gain and the scale should be adequate. The pitfalls in general, when the study is done in hurry, as in case of and also in case of crying child, then the study will be having some pitfalls. So patience is required, child may require sedation, and the study may be fallacious in case of low or high output states, and even in case of some arrhythmia. In 2D images, the problem can occur in case of obesity, chest wall deformity, emphysematous pneumothorax like chest, and postoperative state. To summarize, we have to use the appropriate modalities and windows for getting the proper echo images. We have to use the appropriate transducers, scales, and gain settings, and interpret echo findings in conjunction with the clinical diagnosis and hemodynamic data. Thank you very much.